Good morning, everybody. How are you? Chan Thibodeau here. This is another Monday morning mentor. Now, I know I'm not in my studio today, but hey, sometimes the game must go on. So, hey, if you guys are inside of our night school, inside of our launch fuel program, no matter where you're watching us, whether you're watching us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, we want to welcome you guys each and every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. I come on right here and I give you a fresh teaching, something to inspire you, something to get your life and your business to the next level. So we're so glad that you guys are here today. Today, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be talking with you about 10 ways to make your offer feel expensive before you raise the price. You know, something that we have to understand is that when we have an offer, whether it's a coaching offer or an e-commerce offer, that price doesn't make what you're doing premium. Ultimately, the experience does. And you can double your price tomorrow, and everybody tells you to raise your prices, and you can double your price if you want to. But if you don't change things within your offer, it's still probably going to feel cheap. And you can tell them that it's worth it all that you want, but if you feel like your offer isn't worth what you're charging, then you're going to go into that sales opportunity and you're going to really struggle to sell it. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to show you, before you raise your prices, 10 things that you can do to move your product from average or mediocre to super premium. Okay, so grab a pencil and a piece of paper. We're going to go relatively fast today. Okay, and we're going to give you the 10 rules or 10 things that you can do to go to make your offer feel expensive before you raise your rate. Number one, I want you to lead with outcome, not the process. Lead with outcome, not the process. So if you have a cheap offer, it typically describes the logistics, like what you get. You get 8 calls, you get a portal, you get Slack access, okay? But premium offers describe a transformation. Something like you'll leave with a fully installed client acquisition system, or you'll walk away with a repeatable enrollment framework, or you exit with a 90-day execution plan. So a cheap offer says here's what you get. A premium offer says here's the transformation that's going to happen. So rule number one is you have to lead with outcome, not the format. So when someone asks what you do and you answer with details, it makes your offer feel small. But when you answer with outcomes, it makes your offer feel significant. So I want you to rewrite the description of your offer so the first sentence describes the result, the end result, not the pathway to get there. Number two, you have to remove over explaining. Remove over explaining. One of the reasons why we over-explain what we do is we haven't taken the time to prepare, to rehearse, to practice, and put our offer in a nice, refined sentence. So I want you to remove the over-explaining, because the more you justify your offer, the cheaper it sounds. When you stack, okay? And you also get this bonus and this extra thing, a lifetime access. What you're trying to do is you're trying to convince them that they need to buy. What premium position does is it assumes value. It doesn't beg for any type of value of validation. So what I want you to do when you're making your offer premium and feel premium is I want you to be able to state the offer clearly. State the result clearly. State the investment clearly. Then stop talking. We have a funny thing in our events where we do this little thing, and I'm always like you just got to stop, right? So you tell them what it is, and then stop. Literally stop. I don't care if you have 2.5 minutes of dead silence. They say the next thing. The reason is because when you have stated your premium offer clearly, then silence will be a confidence signal. Rushing is an insecurity signal. So when you state your offer clearly and you feel like you have to keep talking, all that tells me and all that tells your prospect is that you're insecure about your offer. So rule number two is you have to remove over-explaining. So rule number one, lead with outcome, not the format. Rule number two, remove over-explaining. Rule number three, narrow the promise. Narrow the promise, okay? I know it may sound counterproductive, but the more you offer, the less you can charge. I want you to hear that. The more you offer, the less you can charge because broad makes your offer diluted. But when you can narrow in on one specific promise, that one piece of specificity makes you feel incredibly powerful. So if you begin to have an offer that claims to fix marketing and fix mindset and fix branding and fix sales and fix funnels and fix systems and it does it all at once, well, that sort of feels scattered. But when you say, like, I help business owners install a repeatable enrollment system in 90 days, well, okay, that feels a little bit more on point because we're trying to do one thing. And when we're trying to do one thing, here's what happens. When you come to them and you're going to fix their marketing, their mindset, their branding, their sales, their funnels, their systems, whatever, okay, it sort of feels unattainable to your prospects. Like, I'm not 100% sure we're going to be able to accomplish that. And if we do, it sounds like we're going to be able to accomplish all of that mediocrity. But when you say we're going to do this one thing, the confidence in them achieving that one thing skyrockets. I'll never forget, we were in Boise, Idaho, and we were watching Russell Brunson do this pitch. And Russell has a tendency to offer a lot. You're going to get this, 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 you're going to get this. And it's a lot because he's trying to stack the value. And he does that especially when he has a lower ticket offer. But what I've noticed about him is that the less he charges, the more things he offers, because I think he knows that broad feels diluted. But when he wants to charge a lot of money, he just offers one thing. One thing. We were in Boise watching him do this, and he was selling I think a $50,000 offer, like an inner circle offer, and it was just like precision, right? And that's what you have to do. So you have to narrow your promise. I don't want you to do more things. I want you to do less things. I want you to become an absolute pro, an expert at doing one thing, and don't become a jack of all trades. Number 4, I want you to tighten your language. Okay, tighten your language. And what do I mean by that? Okay, if you've ever studied energetic work, okay, you know that any type of sales is simply a transfer of energy. And nothing carries energy nearly as much as language does. And cheap language sounds like I'm trying to do this, I kind of help this, or this might this, okay? Premium language sounds like, this is what we do. This is how it works. This is the result, okay? So I want you to tighten your language, okay? I want you to go audit your sales page or go audit your DMs or go audit your calls. And ask yourself, are you speaking like a leader or are you speaking like someone asking permission, okay? Because we don't want to ask permission. We want to lead. We want to tell. I always say that if you're going to be a coach, then you have got to remove out of your vocabulary suggestions. You don't need to say, I think you should do this. That sounds weak. Instead, you need to say, I want you to do this. That sounds strong. So you've got to be able to tighten your language. You've got to be able to put leadership language within your messaging because cheap language is going to cause you to have an inexpensive offer. Premium language will allow you to have an expensive offer. So before you raise your prices, I want you to change your language. Number 5, upgrade the first 30 days. What do I mean by that? Okay? If your onboarding feels casual, it's going to make your offer feel cheap. This is a mistake that I have made for so many years that I've just recently in the last 18 months gotten right. Okay? People would pay me $50,000 for my coaching, and then their next thing was, okay, now what? And the reason was I didn't have a tightened onboarding process. And because of that, I had to do a ton of work. So what I want you to do is I want you to upgrade the first 30 days. I want you to fix your onboarding process so it doesn't feel casual, it feels premium. And premium experiences feel structured from day one, okay? So I want you to ask yourself a few things. Is there a clear welcome process? Is there a step-by-step roadmap? Do they know exactly what happens in week 1? Do they feel and can they feel momentum immediately, okay? That's what we're looking for. They don't want more content. What they want is they want a better orchestration, okay? Clarity feels expensive. And when you have clarity, they know exactly what they're going to be doing from day one. Clarity feels expensive. So I want you to upgrade the first 30 days. So let's recap. If you guys are just joining us, today we're talking about the 10 ways to make your offer feel expensive before you raise your price. And rule number 1 is lead with outcome, not the process. Rule number 2 is remove the over-explaining. Rule number 3 is narrow your process. Rule number 4 is tighten your language. Rule number 5, and we're halfway home now, is upgrade your first 30 days. Rule number 6. I want you to understand that you need to improve the experience, not the curriculum. I'm going to say this, and it may sound a little controversial to you, but no matter what you teach, they can find better teaching on YouTube. And I'm not trying to offend you, but there are better teachers than you out there. People very seldom pay for information. They very seldom pay for curriculum. Now, you need curriculum, you need information, you need intellectual property, yes. But adding content doesn't increase value, okay? Premium programs are not content heavy. They're what we call decision heavy, okay? And what they do is they focus on implementation. They focus on momentum. They focus on removing friction. I remember when I was the head of coaching in Elite CEOs, we would always say that, you know, hey, you bought this $48,000 coaching program. We want you to make money in your first 7 days. Well, if we wanted them to make money in their first 7 days, then we had to not go all in on content. We had to go in on implementation. And so we had what we call the 7-day push, where when they signed up, here's what you're going to do in the next 7 days. And our goal was to put money in your bank account in the first 7 days. Now, how many of you want that? Of course, right? And that's what you have to do. If you're going to increase your rates, you have to be able to improve the experience, not the curriculum. So focus on implementation, focus on momentum, focus on removing friction. And I want you to look at your offer and say, okay, am I just giving them a library full of content, or am I helping them deliver some kind of progressive momentum? Okay, progress is what makes your product expensive. Number seven, control proximity. What do I mean by that? Okay, Tony Robbins says that proximity is power. Okay, proximity is power. But in my opinion, too much proximity actually diminishes you. In my CAVU program, our $50,000 coaching program, they don't get a ton of access to me. They do get access to me, but not a ton of access. The reason is because people who can afford a $50,000 program, they don't really want a ton of access because they don't have that much time. Okay, and so when we tell them they'll get a pod call every week. They'll get to come, to Arizona a couple times a week for an event. They'll get a quarterly coaching session with me or whatever. That's about all they want. And what they understand is I've been able to control the proximity. I've given them enough proximity where it's super helpful, but not so much proximity where it cheapens me, okay? And that sounds so counterintuitive because you would think that they would want more of me. But my $297 a month people, they want more of me. And the more of me that they get, the less expensive I become, okay? And so you want to control that, okay? Unstructured access feels really messy. So you want to make sure that the access to you is very structured, is very intentional, okay? Because that structured proximity is what's going to allow your product to become premium, okay? So when we do focused hot seats, okay? So here's what a hot seat is. A hot seat is not you're just going to jump on and do Q&A. All right, if anybody's got a question, just ask me. No, see, that's unstructured. A structured hot seat is if you would like to submit a question for Chad to answer, please have those in 72 hours prior. And out of all the questions, he's going to select 3, and he's going to answer those. See, that's structured. That's controlled proximity. Okay, unlimited open-ended messaging is going to make your prospects feel like, okay, this is sort of chaotic and it's sort of cheap. Okay, it's just not going to help you. Okay, if you've ever read John Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, one of the laws that he has in there is called the Law of Diminishing Returns. Okay, and the law of diminishing returns basically states that everything goes from from a great state to a diminished state, okay? And so, in other words, the first time you meet me or the first time you meet somebody, I mean, it's up here. And then the more you interact with that person, the value decreases. That's just the law of diminishing returns. It's just how it is. When you feel like you have all this access to somebody, it's just the way it is. I remember the very first time I went to a Phoenix Suns game. I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. Well, then I had season tickets for 14 years. Well, around year 12, okay, it wasn't special anymore. I wasn't showing up for the starting lineup. I was that guy coming late and leaving early. I wanted to miss the crowds and everything like that. That's just how it is because of the law of diminishing returns. The same thing is true with proximity. Control your proximity, and you'll be able to raise your rate. Number 8, strengthen proof with specific outcomes. Now, what do I mean by that? Non-specific outcomes are like, it's a great program, loved working with him, highly recommend. That's sort of nice, but it's a little bit soft on the testimonials, okay? What I've learned is when your prospects, or excuse me, when your clients say something like, hey, in just 60 days, we went from not even having a program to enrolling 5 $25,000 clients. Okay, that's a premium testimonial, okay? And it's got measurability, it's got viability, and it's got outcome in it, okay? That's what you're looking for. You want to be able to have premium testimonials or premium proof, okay? Because when your results are in your testimonials, people begin to feel as if they can get it. But if they're just saying, oh my gosh, I loved working with Chad, or oh man, Kavu was awesome, oh my gosh, it's so cool, you can't miss it, it doesn't really help you. So you want to get very specific in your testimonials, okay, in the proof, okay? I call it premium proof. You want to get very specific in your premium proof. So when I talk with people about giving testimonials, I work with them on this particular thing. Like, okay, hey, listen, in the first 60 days, what happened? Oh, well, what was life like on day 1? Oh, well, we didn't have anything. Okay. What was life like on day 60? Well, shoot, I have 5 enrolled clients. Great. How much do we charge? $20,000. Okay, so you made 6 figures in 60 days? Yeah. So I want you to say exactly that. Okay. Gosh, in my first 60 days, I made $100,000. Oh, that's premium. Okay. Your product needs that, and if you have that kind of proof, you can raise your price. Number 9. You've got to anchor against the cost of inaction. Now, what do I mean by that? If your offer feels optional, it feels cheap. If someone believes that they can wait 6 months and nothing changes, then they will, okay? You've got to be able to make the consequence of not working with you very visible. So if they delay working with you, okay, what revenue is lost? What momentum disappears? What stress continues? What opportunity passes? Expensive offers feel necessary. And you've got to be able to rework the messaging of your offer to feel necessary. So do the work. What revenue is lost? What momentum disappears? What stress continues? What opportunity passes? If you don't know the answers to those, you haven't done a good enough job in your offer. So I want you to go back and I want you to anchor against the cost of inaction. I want you to be able to measure what happens if they do not work with you. And number 10, finally, I want you to carry yourself and show up premium. Okay? I want you to carry yourself and show up premium. I was talking with a gal the other day who she's got a kid, and so she was doing her videos in her car. Okay? Now she's got to do that because that's the only place she can do it. But her audio sounded terrible. So I showed her a little trick how she can take her audio, put it in Adobe Podcast, a couple clicks of a button, and all of a sudden it sounds like you're in studio. If you guys are watching this live today, I don't have any type of microphone set, and the audio is going to be pretty bad. But when I take this, download it, throw it into Adobe Podcast, it's going to sound like I'm in a studio. You want to show up premium, okay? When you are doing content, or when you are doing coaching, or when you're thinking about your product, you have to understand that your nervous system sets the tone for everything. The other day, my son was pitching in a championship baseball game, and he gave up a run in the first inning. And you would have thought by his body language that it was the end of the world. He was huffing and puffing, and so he and I had a little conversation, and we did some mindset work. And one of the things that we came up with was that body leads mind, not the other way around. Body leads mind. So if you have positive body language, you can trigger your mind to thinking that things are better. Okay? And the same thing is true as a coach. You want to carry yourself a particular way. So you're going to carry yourself a particular way on camera. You're going to carry yourself a particular way on sales calls. You're going to carry yourself a particular way when you're meeting with your customers and clients. You want to be premium, okay? Because your nervous system sets the tone, if you begin to hesitate when you state the price, then what's going to happen is you're going to feel cheap. You're going to look cheap. Okay, but once again, if you're carrying yourself premium, now when you go in and you make the pitch, you make the offer, you state the price, your offer elevates. Okay, don't ever apologize for the investment you're asking people to make. Don't ever over justify the offer and investment you're asking people to make. Don't ever. Okay, because when you show up premium, you speak calmly, your presence is clear, you assume value, you stay steady in silence, and you assume the sale. Okay, did you get that? So when you show up premium, whether it be in your content, whether it be in your teaching, in your presentation, but most importantly in your sales calls, speak calmly, present clearly, assume value, stay steady in silence, and assume the sale. That will help you feel expensive. Okay? So I'm going to just recap these for those of you who like to go to the very end. But my thing is here's 10 things that you need to do in order to make your offer feel expensive before you raise the price. Number 1, stop selling access, okay, and start selling outcomes. Number 2, remove over-explaining. Number 3, tighten your language. Number 4, elevate the experience, not the curriculum. Number 5, narrow your focus, narrow your promise. Number 6, increase proximity strategically. Number 7, anchor against the cost of inaction. Number 8, control the room. Number 9, improve proof positioning. And number 10, forgive me, I actually was teaching that off my old notes. Forgive me, I'm going to go back to my new notes because I refined this. Number 1, lead with outcome, not the format. Number 2, remove over-explaining. Number 3, narrow the promise. Number 4, tighten your language. Number 5, upgrade the first 30 days. Number 6, improve the experience, not the curriculum. Number 7, control proximity. Number 8, strengthen proof with specificity. Number 9, anchor against the cost of inaction. And number 10, carry yourself like a premium operator. And if you do that, before you change your pricing, you change your standard, you're going to be able to raise your rates with absolutely no problem. Hey, if you're still trying to put an offer together and you want to be able to raise your rates, I'd love to be able to help you with that. So if you're watching this live, I want you to just jump in my DMs, okay? Slip on right in my DMs. Tell me who you are, and let's see if you and I can get on a phone call together and see if I can help you create your offer, raise the price, help you become premium, and get you making a full-time living in your own coaching business. All right, guys, God bless you. I appreciate you guys, and we will see you next time on the Monday Morning Mentor.